The way that I read it, Bernie Sanders really seems to be the left-wing candidate in terms of domestic policy, but it seems like there are certain times when he seems slightly hawkish on foreign policy, and it seems that Tulsi Gabbard is really capitalizing on that and being the I don't know if you want to say left wing, but the peace candidate in the Democratic Party. That's at least how she's positioning herself. So what's your take on the Tulsi Gabbard campaign and how she'll fit into this 2020 primary process?
That's an interesting observation. Having known Bernie a while, I don't think it's that he's hawkish. I think it's more that he's just not as interested in foreign policy, and he tends not to be as aggressive in talking about foreign affairs because that's not his intellectual comfort zone. He's much more interested in talking about things like income inequality and corporate overreach and that sort of thing. That may very well leave room for people like Tulsi Gabbard to get her message across. And that's very, very interesting because you saw the incredibly hostile reaction that the commercial press had toward Gabbard from the very start. And that's because her politics are a complete anathema to the bipartisan consensus in Washington. Like, the one thing you can't be is a pacifist in Washington. Yeah, so she may very well get a lot of its support, but the press attention is going to be very, very negative, I think, as long as she continues in the race.
I guess I kind of wonder how it'll play out in the left wing of the party, because there was an instance a week or two ago when Bernie Sanders tweeted about Venezuela. And what he said was, the people of Venezuela are enduring a serious humanitarian crisis. The Maduro government must put the needs of its people first, allow humanitarian aid into the country, and refrain from violence against protesters. And there were a lot of left-wing folks out there, Max Blumenthal, Abby Martin, many others who kind of, I don't want to say took offense, but were a little disappointed in Bernie about this. And one of them actually was Roger Waters from Pink Floyd. His response was, "Bernie, are you effing kidding me? If you buy the Trump, Bolton, Abrams, Rubio line, quote, humanitarian intervention and collude in the destruction of Venezuela, you cannot be credible candidate for president of the USA. Or maybe you can, maybe you're the perfect stooge for the 1%. So it seems like there is sort of a door open where on the far left, or at least, people who are more concerned about foreign policy, some of Bernie Sanders' statements, at least in regards to Venezuela, it could be a little damaging to him, no?
Yeah, absolutely. I didn't love that tweet either. I think the political consensus in Washington, it's amazing how instantaneously everybody forgets how much they despise everything that Donald Trump stands for when the opportunity presents itself for a regime change somewhere in an oil-rich country. Suddenly there's, everybody's in agreement, and it's kumbaya in Washington, and everybody wants to get behind this quote-unquote humanitarian effort to remove Maduro. It's the same script that we've seen over and over again. And that wasn't a great moment for Bernie, I don't think. I think he is maybe a bit of a prisoner of his own success at the moment. I think he's saying things that he may not have in the past because he might be concerned about the damage that it's doing to his now suddenly very real chances at the nomination, which would be disappointing if true. I don't know. I haven't talked to him about it, so it's tough to know exactly what's going on there.
This is a special announcement. Noam Chomsky is returning to PRIMO NUTMEG this month for an all-new exciting interview on a wide array of hot-button issues. This is, without a doubt, Noam Chomsky's most controversial interview ever. Don't miss out. Subscribe to PRIMO NUTMEG on YouTube, iTunes, SoundCloud, or Spotify. Also, sign up for the mailing list at primonutmeg.com. That's PRIMONUTMEG.com. Don't miss the Noam Chomsky interview that everyone will be talking about. It's coming soon from PRIMO NUTMEG.